In the Know.
Welcome. I'm Miss Jill, and this is In the Know. We have a guest in the building tonight. We'll welcome Miss Wendy Cobb Johnson. Welcome.
Thank you.
From The Journey. So we're going to be talking about that organization and that program this evening. Clarence, Doc V, how is everyone?
Doing good. How are you, Jill?
Great.
Hi, Wendy.
Hello, Miss Wendy. How are you? Glad you're here with us this evening.
We actually have Wendy and John Johnson, who they are the founders of The Journey. Before we get started, I just want to read the mission because I think that that's important. The Journey reaches out with unconditional love to young adults aged 14 to 26, assisting their transition from unstable, sometimes traumatic childhoods to self-sustaining adulthoods, teaching them with a combination of individualized support, immersive experiences, hands-on classes, and guides them in forming healthy relationships, accessing resources, and discovering new possibilities for their future. That's a lot. That's a lot. So let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about first how the journey came to be. What birthed the journey?
Well, unfortunately, I was one of those young people that grew up from a broken home, a mom that was a single mother, and so I kind of understand what it is to be in that chaotic lifestyle.
Okay.
I lost my own husband, my first husband, in a terrible car accident in 2013. And I was working for a nonprofit where I met many young adults through Unity Performing Arts that just needed that extra support. And I was kind of doing it on that one-by-one basis.
Okay.
And God gave it to me on my heart to do something bigger.
And that's what you're doing.
That's what I'm doing.
And that's what you're doing. Were you?
I just wanted to say, Wendy, you are amazing. So, I mean, I know we don't have time to really tell the story, but she worked with Unity for a long time.
15 years.
Yeah, okay, 15 years. And so pouring into the kids, the children, the girls, the boys, I'm going to say, and some adults, a lot of adults. And so, so I know Wendy from Unity. So, awesome person, dedicated, just when I say gives herself away, literally, she does. And so I'm just so happy to be sitting here with you tonight.
I don't think you're speaking far from experience.
Thank you. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. And we always have time for a story.
That's good.
You had said something that at the beginning, you said you noticed things in the young adults that you thought needed addressed. Can you tell us kind of what those things were that you were seeing?
Well, yeah, we had some young adults that were in that late, senior age group that were graduating high school or just graduated high school, and they just didn't have that support at home to go on that next step. Or they were coming from an environment where they weren't with parents or guardians, and they needed that support. We had built a partnership with the Caris House. Unity did. Yeah. And so we had some young people coming from the Caris House to us. And it was just seeing that they really needed something deeper. Because doing something like performing arts creates such a need for that support system.
Yeah.
So you can do it, and you can do it well. And they didn't have that. And so we were filling in the gaps. And it just made me realize birds of a feather flock together. So kids that are struggling know kids that are struggling.
Yes.
True.
And you start seeing that there's this bigger need.
Right. So basically from isolation to fellowship.
Yeah, and that actually came from a sermon. We were sitting in church after Easter, and the pastor was speaking about the men going back after the crucifixion to Damascus, and Christ was following them down the road, and they didn't realize it was Christ till he broke the bread in their house, and the pastor said he, in a moment, took him from isolation to fellowship. He took him on a journey. And I sat in the pew and bawled and scribbled on the bulletin. My husband thought I was insane. I'm like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's your
I want
purpose.
to take him.
This is your purpose.
Because so many young people feel isolated. And they need to be not only in fellowship with Christ, but people.
Yeah.
Because we're made to be in community.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about families and children or teenagers or even adults So tomorrow I think we're talking about women. So this is definitely something that has been on the table that needs to stay on the table. Do you feel like your personal story led you to be so passionate about helping these kids?
Oh, absolutely. There's this wonderful survey now that they use in the mental health field called the ACE survey, and it's your childhood experiences before you're 18 years old. There's 10 questions. I answer yes to 9 of 10. And so when I'm working with my young people and they all do this survey and they're just heartbroken, I'm like, this doesn't define who you are.
Yeah,
This
right.
is just where you're at.
Yeah.
And so it's easy for them to say, I'm like, Miss Wendy's a 9 out of 10. And their eyes get about this big. And I said, and I'm married, and I have children, and I graduated college, and and I started an organization. So just because all this stuff has happened doesn't mean you can't be who God intended you to be.
Amen. Absolutely.
Ooh-wee. So, Wendy, life skills and mentoring.
Yes, we have 7 different programs.
Okay.
So we meet 7 nights out of the month, and so it's very set. And we've got amazing community partners that help us use their space. So we change from week to week where we're at, but the programs stay the same month to month. So Unity is one of the spaces we use. So we use their computer lab to do our creating conversations, which is professionalism and business entrepreneurship. And so we're teaching resumes and interviews and those kind of things. So that's a
Yes.
life skill. We use Divine Encounter one Thursday, and that's where we do a cooking class. We're actually doing a cooking class in a cafe. What better place to cook?
Right.
You know, we've had a wonderful Christian couple that's letting us use their barn, the Gillinghams, out on Winchester. So we do there, and we're using this redone, gorgeous barn outside where we do Roots, which is all about self-realization, about communication skills, and we're working through Brene Brown's book, Imperfect. And so each one is a different life skill that we're working at. But like I said, where it changes week to week, it's the same month to month.
No, that's good. That's good because you're using practical applications, not only giving them the life skills or anything, because a lot of times it's not what you know, it's how you know, knowing how to use what you know.
Right.
And having that practical application, because a lot of these organizations and counseling, they just want to get to the inner or mental side of it, but don't give them that practical use of what they're doing. So if you're going to say, yeah, we can get therapy through cooking, why not take them to a kitchen, or why not do the farming?
Yeah.
So I like the way that you use the practical application with your works.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Well, in that mentorship, what we do is we take that a step deeper than a lot of places, is our ratios run 1 adult to 5 young people. So 1 mentor to 5 mentees in any of our evening settings, because we want them to be hands-on. So nobody gets to stand and hold up a wall. Everybody has to be engaged in what we're doing. And so that way, for some reason, we think as adults, we meet people and we click with who we click with, but we think we take a kid and we put them in front of an adult, them and that adult need to get along.
Right.
Well, that doesn't always happen. So by having several adults, we see who gravitates to who.
Yep. Yep.
That's good.
You've said the word mentor several times. Where do the mentors come from? Are they people in the community? Are they volunteers? Tell us a little bit about the mentorship and how do you need more mentors?
We always need
let's
more
talk
mentors.
about that. Let's talk about that.
Our mentors come from all walks of life. I've met them from church and from other organizations, from out networking in the community. Sometimes they see our stuff on social media, and they want to be a part of what we do. So male and female, they need to be 18 or older because of the age group that we work with. We want that mentor to be a little bit older than who they're mentoring. And we encourage them to come in. We have people that are single, people that are married, and that's okay because we want our young people to be able to resonate with that person that fits.
Correct. Correct.
Are you looking for a specific skill set in mentors?
At this point, no, because we, again, welcome everybody, the different backgrounds, the different work that they're doing is really good. It would be nice to have maybe a couple more couples, married couples. We have about 3 within our group. So many of our young people are coming from broken homes that the idea to have them see a healthy marriage together, 2 people that are loving and kind to each other is such a healthy thing for them to see. So couples would be great.
Okay.
And so, Wendy, real quick,
ahead,
so the age range is 14 to 26. So do you ever waver? You see a 12-year-old or 13-year-old. Maybe she's even 27 or 28.
Don't look at my husband over there. Yes, I have. I've wavered a few times on 13-year-olds because that 14-year-old could be in 8th grade. Because really we were trying to hit that high school and young adult. But I've taken on a couple 13-year-olds. It really depends on the person because sometimes they'll fit and sometimes they won't.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure, I don't want them to feel like they're not in the group. I want them to feel like they can be a part of what's going on.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we wavered both ways. We have a young lady with us right now that actually just turned 29. She has has an IDD diagnosis, and so her mental capacity isn't quite at her 29, but she loves being with us, and we love to have her.
That's
Gotcha.
awesome.
Before we leave the mentors, so if I wanted to be a mentor, if somebody's watching wants to be a mentor, what's the process?
I would ask them to go to our website,
Which is
restreleaserespond.org.
restreleaserespond.org altogether.
Yes. And there's a contact button there. They can send me an email. And then normally what I do is reach out with an email, a phone call, and do a one-on-one meeting, just so I can explain to them what we do and how we do it, since it is a little bit different. And I explain to them all the different programs we have, because I have some mentors that come once a month, and that's fine. And I have some that say, you know what, I'll do every Thursday. And that is okay too. Because one of the things that we do beyond just the programming is we pick up and drop off 99% of the young people that attend.
Oh, wow.
So like transporting them
Yes.
to and okay.
Yes, because unfortunately we live in an age that they don't have it. There is not the transportation out there. Parents working, guardians not available. And so we want them there.
Yeah.
And so because we want them there, we coordinate, or I coordinate. And it's kind of where they're coming from work, they'll pick up. And then when they're going home, they'll drop off. And that way we all work together. And we're seeing about 16 to 18 mentees on a program night.
Oh, that's good.
good.
But Doc V asked about the age, and Jill asked about the specific mentors and how they can be a part of it. How do you find your individuals to enroll in your program? Where do you get the individuals that enroll in your program?
Right now, a lot of our individuals have been referrals. Our young people have been bringing their friends. Again, I say that, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
So young people that are struggling have friends that are struggling. And so that's kind of been our biggest piece. I started with who I know. My youngest daughter is 20. So, it started out with people she knew, and that was where we started. I do a lot of different tables at events and that are organization type things, so people learn about us and be sending out that kind of information. Because I'd say in the past year, we literally went from, like I said, 8 to 10 on a program night to 16 to 18. So we're about at capacity without adding more programs.
Wow.
Because you get over that 20, you're going to lose the intimacy of the conversation.
Yes.
And I don't want to lose that feeling.
Right. Let's talk about, so I have a fascination with trees. So the tree, to me, represents growth, change, seasons, roots. Tell us a little bit about because if you can see, everybody can see there's the cross also down in the middle.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about the tree and how this came to be.
Well, with the tree, everything that you said is true. The growth, the roots, but the safety.
Okay.
A lot of people can find safety under the shade, in the shade of the tree, being with the tree. Tree is strong. Those roots in, there's safety. And what a lot of our young people don't have is that safety. They don't feel they have that safe space. So that kind of, everything you said, yes, the growth, the roots, foundation, but that safety too. The cross is there because we are a registered Christian organization.
Yes.
Butterflies, rebirth, gotta love it. And the hearts, because we try to love everybody right where they're at.
I love it. Absolutely love it. You talked about events. So I do know that you have an event coming up on April 6th.
We do.
From 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and that is at the Fort Wayne Mirro Center.
Yes.
10622 Parkview Plaza, Fort Wayne. Tell us a little bit about what's going to happen at that event.
That event is our Style Emporium. So we have some of our mentors and mentees that are going to be showing spring fashions in a style show runway type thing from 3 different local boutiques.
Okay.
And then we're also going to have vendors where people can shop, and we're going to have a silent auction. So breakfast will be served. So a little bit of networking, then a program, and then a little bit of networking.
Okay.
There will also be a chocolate fountain from my dear friend Angela Dipple with the Fort Wayne Chocolate Fountain.
Okay. Do people have to register for this event, or
It is
how?
a ticketed event.
Okay.
It's $50 for a
Okay,
ticket.
right.
Through Eventbrite. And if they go to the website, that link's all there.
Okay, so they can go there to register. And again, that event is April 6th from 9 to 1 at the Fort Wayne Mirro Center. Going forward, rest, release, respond. It's on the mission, the vision, the purpose. It's everywhere. So tell us a little bit about what is rest, release, respond?
Rest, release, respond is our tagline, but it's really a 3-phase process. When we bring in a young person and we're working with them, that rest is just talking about that safe space. We live in a world of chaos with things coming at us in every direction, and we just want a place that they can feel safe.
Okay.
And so that's that rest. Release. We all have baggage. Adults have baggage. Kids have baggage. Leave it at the door. You're not your stuff. We want you to set it down and just be present. That's another thing that's very hard in today's society, is to be present where you're at. And then respond. How can we help you move forward? What's the healing process? Who do you need to be connected to? What's out there as far as resources in the community? Because we want you moving forward, not stay stuck where you're at.
Absolutely. What are your greatest challenges so far?
Funding. I mean, honestly, funding. We got caught up in COVID. So the organization got its 501c3 in December of 18. We started our programming in September of 19, and COVID hit. And so very sparse programming available during that, because you just couldn't be places, couldn't be together.
Right.
And so now we've had 2 full years of programming. And so this is the starting of our 3rd year. So we're just at that point to hit for grants and stuff. And that's part of the reason we have to do fundraisers. We don't charge anyone to be a part of anything we do. So they all do it for free. And so with that, we have to find the funding so that we can keep doing that.
With that, a great difficulty or something, a challenge that you may come across regularly, what is the most difficult or pressing challenge with the individuals that you're working with right now? What is the seeming or the most common cause or things that they're going through right now?
The stuff that they're going through, I say probably the most common issue with them is a lot of them are angry. The anger is just is the first emotion that comes up in any situation they're in, and they really haven't been taught how to deal with that anger. And unfortunately, COVID made it worse because everybody was so isolated.
Right.
And so I feel like we're almost reteaching how to communicate, how to use our words. You know, your face can have an emotion. Right. Smile, please, smile. We can all see you now, smile. Right. And so underneath that, I would just say there's lots of brokenness. Unfortunately, almost all of our, 98% of all our mentees are from broken homes. And so they just don't have that consistent structure at home. And so that brokenness that they're just carrying with them every day.
Right. Are you in the schools at all, like with the counselors? Or when you talked about referrals, where do those normally come from, commonly?
I've had referrals from a few different actual agencies that work. New Mercy's one of them, where they're working with families in transition, and so they help families that are going through a crisis, and then they have host homes that take in children, and so they've done some referrals of those teenagers, and just different ages. That's probably behavioral health.
Okay.
Like I made a connection with someone there, so they shared our information, and we've gotten a referral from there. As far as the school systems, actually not directly with the school systems. That's hard to get into. But I have connected with Brightpoint, and I've been able to speak with all the JAG teachers, and they're in all the Fort Wayne community high schools. And actually, one of my board members is now a teacher with JAG, and it looks like we're going to go into one of the classrooms and talk. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, you're doing this.
That's good.
John, too. So, John's doing this, too.
So, Wendy, what's the ratio as far as male-female?
We are probably at 70 to 30, 70% female, 30% male.
What's the age demographic overall? I know it's 14 to 16, but what is the
main
median
14 to
age?
26.
26, I'm sorry. What is the median age of your groups?
17 to 20. We have a large number of seniors this year.
Oh, okay.
That just kind of happened. It's just like, we have like 7 seniors, which is it. I have probably about 30 that are attached to us right now, but 7 of those are seniors, so that's kind of hitting that middle ground.
Okay. Now, as for your programming as well, is it age specific or is it just a generalization of programs like the cooking or the gardening or agriculture, or do you do certain age specific programming as well?
I would say the things that we're doing are specific to the age that they're at. So it's hands-on. Like our cooking class, they're actually prepping the food, going in the kitchen, cooking the food, then sit down and eating it. And then we're making them learn about the nutrition in that meal, but also how do you read the ingredients on that package that you're pouring the food from. We want them to really have that knowledge. So I would say it's definitely age appropriate. You know, when we're doing our business and professional class resumes, we're showing them the site to get on, look at those templates, and how they can create it themselves. So trying to make that very hands-on for them.
Okay.
Gotcha. Is the program, is it, do people just come until they feel like they're done, or is there a certain phases and then you're done with the program? How does the length of the program work, and what's the goal for them?
What we do is we now do registration from January through May, and then a short summer of June and July that's kind of open, and then again from August to December. We do ask them to register for those sessions so we can do our planning. Again, we're
Gotcha.
doing the pick up, the drop off, we're buying the food, we feed them every single time we're together.
Okay.
And so we need to know that, and then really they can stay in as long as they want. That's kind of up to them, because every year, because it's ongoing programs, it's another, if we're going through a book, it's going to be a new book with new highlights. If we're doing cooking, we're cooking something different. And so it's just on a continual basis.
Do you feel like this also educates the parents? Now, I'm not talking about the parents that would be in that 14 to 26.
Right.
I'm talking about the parents of Jessica, who Jessica comes to the program. She gets picked up. She goes through the phases. Don't you feel like if Jessica is getting that kind of education and taking that home, isn't that something that is healthy as far as the relationship with the parent? I mean, do you get a lot of support from the parents of the children who are coming?
Unfortunately, no, we don't. Unfortunately, most of our parents take them. They're glad that they're in something. They want them to be a part of it.
Right.
They're excited for them to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't have much interaction.
Yeah. And we hear that a lot. We hear that all the time.
But
Go ahead, Dr.
I was just going to ask this real quick with that. But don't you feel like sometimes young people, they want to have a voice together with people even their age and away from parents?
Oh,
sometimes?
yes, absolutely. I know, even raising my own kids who are now 28, 26, and 20, I could tell them something 20 times that I knew was good for them, and I don't know anything, but Miss Ray, you could tell them the exact same thing, and they come home and go, guess what?
Right.
And you're just
Right.
going... And so I feel that in my heart, so I'm sure that we're probably saying things that other adults, other parents, grandparents have said to these young people, but I'm like, you know what, if we can drive it home and we know it's those nuggets that could be life-changing, we want to keep doing it.
And Jill asked a question. I want to do a follow-up question. A lot of programs, children age out or people age out. Do you have a follow-up? Because, there's a lot of programs that send children and people through, but once they're done, they're a statistic or a forgotten number.
Yeah.
Do you have a wraparound service or a return where they can come back and just check in with your program?
They never have to get rid of my phone number. They all have my own personal cell number. But I would say more than that is we try and encourage them that, now remember, we haven't been doing this long enough, but the hope is as they age towards that age out, they'll come back and be a mentor. So I have one young man that's 22 right now, and he's got his own job and his own car. So now weekly I get, Miss Wendy, who can I go pick up?
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And so that comes back around, and that's really what we want to do. How can we help pull you back in a way, in a capacity that's good for you?
Yeah. Well, I was looking at your brochure. Can you tell us about the Resilient Retreat?
Resilient Retreat is something that we've done twice now. We found this amazing building on Lake Webster. It's called Grace Cottage. It is owned by Grace United Methodist Church in Kokomo. And believe it or not, sleeps 44 people, and it's only $350 for the weekend.
Wow.
Well, goodness.
Yes, and so we went from a Friday through a Sunday for a weekend and took these young people who, a lot of them had never been away from Fort Wayne.
Sure.
Never been gone all weekend. And we, that's another fun thing with mentors. They think they're great for 2 hours. I'm like, well, 3 days is a little different.
Right.
But we had a great time. 20 young people, 12 adults. And we watched the sunset over the water. And I was shocked. 18, 19-year-olds had never watched a sunset.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Amazing.
And we used that to talk about resilience because we said, how'd you feel? How'd that make your heart
Yes.
feel? And we were able to wrap that around into a conversation of that feeling good. That's when that stuff happens. You need to come back. I said, if you can pull up that feeling, that's help building your resilience so you don't get stuck in that stuff.
Absolutely. I think, too, the water is just peaceful. The
it's
lake
amazing.
and the release. I mean, it's just awesome. So if the journey made a list of things that you needed, what would be on that list?
I would always say people capital. So that would be individuals that want to mentor, individuals that would like to come in and give a presentation, on different topics.
So give an example of like the last person that came in and gave a presentation. Were they somebody that was in the community? Was it for a
yeah.
career type?
Absolutely in community. So our professional and business class, we have somebody come from a bank and explain how do you get a bank account and why do you need one instead of a chime card.
Great.
We have somebody that does finances come in and say, let's talk about a budget and why you need one. We have somebody come into our Roots program, which is for the community to come in. And Jonathan Watley with Stronger Families is coming in next month. He's going to talk about anger management. Goes back to we're all angry. How do we work with that? So so different topics that make sense and kind of fit into what we're doing. We're always looking for people that might want to be on a committee.
Okay.
Because you got to plan behind the scenes to do that and just support. But then there's always the very basics. Like I said, we feed every single time we get together.
Yeah.
So paper plates, napkins, cases of water. So all those things too help.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Well, with that, and she's asking about, the capital and everything. Is there like a donation? Like if I'm just a Joe Blow and I see your website, do you have a website or do you have where I could just simply donate out of the goodness of my heart?
Absolutely. We, on our website, therestReleaseRespond.org, there's a donate button, goes straight through PayPal. You can make a one-time donation or you can become a journey guide and give a monthly donation, which helps us with our sustainability.
Okay.
That's good.
Very good. Very good. Looking at your little flyer here, safe space, understanding and growth, and learning to move forward. Whether you're 14 or 97, I think that these are things that are important as far as building our resilience. So I am curious, if you don't mind, has the journey, the organization, your involvement, obviously as the founder, do you feel like you have healed also, that this has helped you heal?
I would say I've done a lot of healing beforehand, but I will say that I've done a lot of growth. And, I watch that with my mentors because we don't want to use our young people to heal per se, but it can help us grow. Because even though we've been through our stuff, there might be another point of view. There might be a new technique. There might just be a new way to walk with somebody who's going through it.
Absolutely.
And when you went through it yourself, you may have handled it one way, but you may have to understand this person has to do it their way.
Correct. I think that's very important. If you do you guys have anything else before I? No. If you could give a call to action to the community, if you would look in the camera and just kind of let them know what their involvement could be as far as the parents. Like we're talking, why should their children be involved? Why should a 23-year-old person be involved? Or for anybody, why should anybody be involved in this program? If you can just speak into the camera right now and tell.
Well, the Journey offers the opportunity for a young person, whether in high school or beyond, to not only connect with their peers, but also connect with adult mentors that can love on them and give them guidance through those steps of life. As young people, we think we know it all, and many times we don't. And if we can help break down some of those barriers or even help lead a path that maybe doesn't have as many pitfalls, we would like to do that. There's amazing organizations, businesses, and people here in our city, and we love to connect and make those opportunities, just available for any young person that wants it. So we'd like to be able to do that too, because collaboration helps all of us move forward.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Some contact information, again, the phone number, I don't think we've given that yet, is 260-750-2800. The website, restreleaserespondaltogether.org. And there's also an email. Does that email go to you? The info at restreleaserespond?
I will get it, but
Okay.
That's our
Okay.
information.
So there's some contact information. And again, April 6th, from 9 to 1. We'll put that up on our page as well. But we do want to thank you for being here. Like I said, we've been talking about families and parents and teenagers and just the state of where we are right now as a society. So any program like this, the Journey, Rest, Release, Respond, is huge as far as recovery in the community, because we recover from a lot of things.
Yes.
We need to recover from a lot of things. So we do want to thank you for being here. John also. We do have John in the building.
John, say hi.
So, yes, always appreciate. We always appreciate our guests. We always appreciate people who are doing good things in the community. So I commend you for that. And
thank you.
Thank you for being here. We will see you next time. Tomorrow, we are talking about women, I believe. Women in history.
Yes.
So if you would join us tomorrow at 8:30, that would be great because women are, we're important. We're very important. As we always say before we exit, Clarence.
Always protect your mind.
See you tomorrow.
A podcast by Neutral Voices Media Group. In the Know.